I will not alter the plinth till they come for the inspection.
No, but what are you going to do currently? How are
That
people
is,
going to sit
that
in
is,
the rain
that
there?
is, that is my thing was to give you an update on the market file. What is happening with the people and all, I will discuss with you. Other than that.
Can I discuss with
ये minutes and discuss क्या है government? 9 minutes pass करो नहीं मुझे. तू किधर को? I have already written to them. They have not yet written back to me. But in the meantime, CM has assured that 24 hours होगा पढ़ा में होता है ना minimum 4 hours तक होता है ना. In the assembly, which is a place where you have to take it in attendance spirit.
I agree with what you are saying. It is justified. But you had said that next meeting have come with a complete.
Now I tell you, in the meantime, I am planning to go see the lab, but I have not given NOC for water for it. Because they have swimming pool. I have not given NOC for water. Pressure I said I am not giving. So water availability, RPWD सांग आणि तुझे NOC बोल. Multi-dwelling कागद NOC घेऊन ना water. तुम्ही जाय record चा there in the panchayat, you see. If you have swimming pool for your dwelling, you will not get the affidavit payment in the तुझ्यात लागेल तो. त्याला काय? I am not going to give you NOC here swimming pool for your multi-dwelling project. To express the intent of the people, but the law does not hold this resolution in effect because it is contradictory to the act. So आम्ही हे कसे होतं आम्ही resolution त्यांना दिता swimming pool तो तुझ्याला की हा NOC on the condition that you get water availability from PWD, then maybe your proposal may be processed. Then main Gram Sabha, ordinary Gram Sabha हल्ली दो आयज आमचो रिलीजियस डे आसून पासून आमी आयज घेतली कित्याक तातूंत एक व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट मुद्दो आयल्लो पळय तो जो आमच्या हायकोर्टाची ऑर्डर आयल्या त्या उपरांत सबसिक्वंटली डायरेक्टर ऑफ पंचायतीन आमकां मेमोरेंडम धाडलेलो इम्प्लिमेंटेशन करपाक. सो ताजे थोडे क्लॅरिफिकेशनान आमचो आमदार एक लर्नड एडवोकेट आसल्या कारणान तातूंत थोडे निटिग्रिटीज ती उतरां कशें इंटरप्रेट करपाची कितें कशें इम्प्लिमेंट जातलें सो दॅट आमी कायदो इम्प्लिमेंट करतले आनी लोकांक जाता तितलें प्रोटेक्शनूय दितले तांचे बारीक बारीक कन्सेप्ट आसा. सो त्या हाचेर हे हाडले प्लस अपार्ट फ्रॉम दॅट आमचो एन्युअल एक्सपेंडिचर एंड इनकम स्टेटमेंट हाडलो आनी एडमिनिस्ट्रेटीव रिपोर्ट. पूण एडमिनिस्ट्रेटीव रिपोर्ट हे सगळ्या सिट्युएशनान प्रिपेर जावना म्हणून आमी तो फुडल्या ग्राम सभेक घेता म्हणून रिक्वेस्ट केला. तो रिक्वेस्ट एग्री केला.
मार्केट कॉम्प्लेक्साचें कितें जालें?
मार्केट कॉम्प्लेक्साचें सरान हे दिला क्लॅरिफिकेशन. CMन अप्रुवल दिला. आय ऑल्सो हॅव द डॉक्युमेंट विथ मी वेर CM हॅज पुट अ नोटिंग दॅट यू मे पुट अप दीस मॅटर फॉर अप्रुवल वेर MLA हॅज ऑफर्ड CMन 100 crores ह्या वर्सा सगळ्या कॉन्स्टिट्युएन्सीक अलॉट केल्ले आहा फॉर डेव्हलपमेंट. आमकां 3 crores प्री अप्रूव्ड आहा. 3 कोटींतले बिल्डींग जावचें ना. सो तांकां सुबेज जर जाय जाल्यार ते 100 कोटींतले तो अलॉटमेंट भितर करचो म्हूण MLA CMक बरोवन CMन मी पुट अप म्हणून रिमार्कूय मारलेलो. आय कॅन शो इट टू यू. आय हॅव आनी त्या उपरांत GSIDC बोर्ड मिटिंगेन एक फावट घेतलें देन इट गोज फॉर टेंडर प्रोसेस. सो लागीं पावल्या.
ओके.
टेकिंग टायम बट वी आर होपफूल दॅट
ते गाडे काडपाचे तेजे कितें सांग कितें
गाडे काडपाचे. गाडे जे रोड वायडनिंग लायन स्पेशली PWDचे एक्वायर्ड लँडान आहा ते काडचे पडटले कित्याक ते क्लियर डायरेक्शन. सो PWDक हांव लेटर बरयतलो मंडे ट्यूजडे तूं येवन बाबा डिमार्केट कर. जर तर कोणाक फाटल्यान वचोन ऑपरेट करूंक जाय फ्रीडम आहा ऑपरेट करपाक. टेनंट आसो ओनर आसो कडेन NOC दी तांकां ऑपरेट करूंक जाता जाल्यार ते कॅन ऑपरेट. शूड नॉट बी अ प्रॉब्लम.
Yeah, today I explained to the Gram Sabha of Aldona what is the judgment. कित्याक स्टार्टिंग तो कोण जाय कितें जजमेंट बेश्टे उलयले मागीर प्रश्न परत रिपीट जाता. सो आय हॅड टू एक्सप्लेन फर्स्ट what is the judgment. Number 2, I explained what Chief Minister made statement distinguishing between illegal and irregular, and he repeats this again and again. So he is firm in his mind about illegal and irregular. Third, I have demonstrated here how ministers of the government either they don't know or they're misleading or they're telling lies. False statements that High Court has not given any direction to demolish houses when the order specifically says demolish. And in every category High Court and Bulla demolish the illegal structures. So people must be ready for it. आणि सरकार also कितें जाता तूं खबर आहा जाल्यार हें येवपा आहा सरकारान मागीर प्रिव्हेंटीव एक्शन घेवपाक जाता. तयारी करूंक जाता. बील हाडूंक जाय जाल्यार ऑर्डिनन्स हाडूंक जाय जाल्यार करूंक जाता. मागीर मोडपा दारार पावले तेन्ना बुलडोजर पावले मागीर म्हूण राव मागीर आमी येता आनी तुका साल्वार करतात ना. In short, I demonstrated Then when it's the rich and the famous, the government changes law and allows them to have all these kind of structures, even on agricultural tenanted lands. But the poor farmer, poor owner is left without any help from the government, left to fend for himself and left to virtually to sell the lands. I will give you one small example. तू फाल्या CRZ तुमगे जमीन आहा तू परमिशन मागोस ते म्हणटाले दिस इज नॉट वेकंट प्लॉट एंड लागना तें बसना यू डोंट हॅव दीस प्लॉट सायज पूण आनी कोण येयलो जाल्यार तुगे प्लॉट गेलो तो दुसरो प्लॉट सायडीन घेतलो प्लॉट सायज कोतलो सगळे परमिशन दिल्लीसून हाडटलो आनी तो बांदतलो तुगे कायलो. This is what is going on, unfortunately, and that's what I have demonstrated, that where there is a will, there is a way. And surely the government, when the Chief Minister speaks about irregular, and I agree with it, irregular because we have made a mistake, maybe while building a house, maybe on building, people don't want to go through the motions of so many permissions. एक परमिशन 6 म्हयने लागता 8 म्हयने लागता तुगे पयशे बंद उरले थिंगा लोन घेयला तें उरता सो कॉन्ट्रॅक्टर आर्किटेक्ट सगळे रेडी आहा पूण मागीर कांय तुगे परमिशनूच पास जायना थिंगा. सो पीपल टेक शॉर्टकट ऑफ बिल्डिंग इट इलिगली समटायम्स इन देयर ओन लँड. So these are what should be regularized with speed, and there should be time frame for deciding application. I think all this would have been helped to save every person who is building a structure if time frames are given for deciding the applications for a construction license. Even your conversion sanad. You can't keep a conversion sanad pending for 2 years and 3 years, or a construction license pending for 1 year. Occupancy certificate waiting there, not completion certificate pending for 1 year or more. How can it happen? So basically, the High Court has fixed a time frame for taking a survey, for issuing notices, and for taking action. As far as commercial activity in illegal structures, whether it is on your own land, whether it is on agricultural land, whether it's on tenanted agricultural land or roadside, anywhere, every construction, High Court has said, is illegal. The business must stop first and the constructions need to be removed and demolished.
So you also stated that the order cannot be taken to the Supreme Court. Can you elaborate on that?
High Court has passed an order to implement the existing law. So the High Court has not passed a judgment, A, contrary to law, B, in ignorance of a law, or C, in rewriting a law which does not exist. When it follows the mandate of the law, what scope is there to call in question this judgment, either by a review or by appeal in the Supreme Court? At the most, what can be done, if needed, the government can ask for extension of time for the time schedules given. And perhaps if the High Court is of the view that it can be done, then or it is needed, then the High Court may alter the time frame schedules. That's all.
With regard to Gada, did someone complain about this thing and the issue is come up now?
I had heard that as far as Korea is concerned, someone had written to the PWD about the gadas which are put there. One local only had complained, and I don't know if he has got some enmity with somebody or some previous history of similarity or what, I don't know. I don't go into these local fights between neighbors and others, but apparently the PWD woke up on that also. But it's also simultaneously the High Court direction came. So there are two parts to that. There was. And it's only along the Causeway Aldona bridge that was the question asked about the land acquired and the permissions granted, NOCs granted, like that it was. So that sets the trigger for the purpose of initiating action. But as I mentioned, as far as the construction or the gadas or the handcuffs along either sides of the bridge, there must be a defined area, which is the area of the acquisition, after which you can take action.
Earlier, while you were speaking,
when you look at a plot of land, you look at the survey plan. On the survey plan, it shows a green hatched line. The green hatched line means this is a field. So it shows you what is this plot is a field. If that green hatched line is not there in the inside of the survey boundary line, then it's not a field. When it's a field, it will also be reflected in the survey entry saying that this is what type of a field. And therefore, any development in a field area, in an agricultural area, requires a conversion. When you don't have a conversion, it becomes illegal. So perhaps you may have a license, but you may not have a conversion. Or perhaps you may not have both. Now, what I was pointing out, when the government brought this Act, 2023 Act, called the Goa Restrictions on Transfer of Agricultural Land Act 2023, it cleverly brought in one definition of what is agricultural land, which gets attracted under this law. And this law has two parts. Though the title says that it is only relating to restriction on transfer of land, it also has section 3.2, which says that no person who owns or occupies or in possession of any agricultural land shall use it or allow it to be used for any purpose other than agriculture, except by following due procedure laid down under any law in force. This means first you are prohibited, but you are allowed if you take your permissions, understand, which is the land revenue code. But this will apply to this agricultural land which is defined, and I will explain this. I'll first read the definition and explain it. Agricultural land means a land which is presently being used for cultivation of paddy, but does not include land which is earmarked for the use or purpose, partly or fully, other than agriculture in any plan prepared under the Goa Town Planning Act 1974. So a plan under the TCP Act can be ODP or can be regional plan. Other than agriculture means it can be settlement, it can be commercial, it can be settlement 1, 2, 3, whatever you got, and commercial 1, 2, 3, 4. It can be institutional, which is non-agricultural. Which means while your survey form will show the hatch line of green means agriculture, but this definition, if your original plan says that this is settlement, it takes it out of the scope. Did you understand this part?
Yeah. Okay.
Now the use of it. By this virtue, you can apply to collect and say, here is the section, this allows me, therefore allow me. That's why I said farmhouse will be allowed to come in. Understand? All that has to do color in the original plan, that allows field can be converted.
I'm opposed to villas coming with swimming pools when we are facing shortage of water. I'm opposed to complexes coming with swimming pools when we are having shortage of water. The time of Manor Parrikar, when he became Chief Minister, he had asked for a legal opinion from the Law Department and the Advocate General on the power of the Gram Sabha to consider construction applications. And the answer which came was circulated by a circular by the Town Planning Department saying that the Gram Sabha does not have power or jurisdiction to decide on applications for construction licenses, that is purely with the Panchayat. So this matter went to the court and it was held that since the Panchayat has the power, not the Gram Sabha, therefore the Panchayat decides it. Gram Sabha, we express our feelings, but this is first part of it. But I'm on the second part, which again I repeat, on the water which is being used for the swimming pools. Whenever the PWD gives permission, they write one condition. They boreta tiga, तुम्ही उदकाचे अरेंजमेंट तुम्ही करू पडले. म्हणून आम्ही जाणा त्या उदकाचे कसले अरेंजमेंट करनात. टँकर हाडून जाय. खुयसून टँकर हाडले. Filtered water, not filtered water, clean water, not clean water, whether it can be used for a swimming pool, treated water, not treated water. हे आमगेले नोडाचे पायप ते सांबात जाता उदकांत. सांबात सगळे बदतात आणि आमगे लोकांक उदक मेळना. ते मागीर तेगे हावसिंग कॉम्प्लेक्स, कॉलनीक ते उदक पावयतात, स्विमींग पुलाक पावयतात आणि आमी थिंगा सामके काबार जाले त्या सायडीन. सो I hope you are understanding what I'm trying to say. I'm not personally against it, but I say that when the entire village is suffering, when the entire place is suffering with water shortage, then this luxury should not be allowed, first. Second, I have asked PWD, this I will tell you because you might have heard it before. I have asked PWD, please, I issued Kaldotanna maybe in 2022 or 2023 in assembly, आमगे water shortage सद्दां आशिल्लें तेन्ना हांवें काडलें तेन्ना निलेश काब्राल तेन्ना मिनिस्टर आशिल्लो तेणें सांगलां एक घरांत इतले लोक रावतात एक मनशाक इतलें उदक जाय म्हणल्यार इतलें उदक घरा पावलें जाल्यार तुगे जालें ते शिप्पा वतात उदक उजार करतात झाडां घातात हिंगा तेंगा घातात तें सोड म्हणलें हांवें म्हणलें कितको करूं जाता बट एनीवे तेगे कॅल्क्युलेशन तें आशिल्लें. So I told now PWD, you calculate how many people stay in each villa, how many rooms, so you calculate with 2 in each room, and then you know how much water they require. I have asked them, calculate how much water they are actually drawing, consuming and paying. You will come to know from there that they are drawing excess water. And then therefore this water is going definitely to their sump and to the swimming pool and for their overhead tanks. I have no problem overhead tanks, but when it goes into the sump, remember the sump is at a low level. So if water gets filled, the others don't get water. And when there's no water, pressure doesn't go up, so it doesn't go up to the people, even slightly on the higher side. I'll give you one small example. In Ikoshi, that temple is the Krishna temple. On the right side, it's not even a hill slope. Just the house on the right side is not getting water because slightly on the slope. So imagine the suffering of those people. I can understand Kalvi it is high and somewhere else Karona it's high, nothing like that. On that level they are not getting the water. So because the water is getting over. So I have asked for it. I assure to follow it up. I also have a little larger plan which I want to share with you. This is not just for us but for the entire Goa. I want to see whether test it. Whether we can prohibit these kind of dwelling houses with swimming pools, these luxurious swimming pools and all coming up, from being barred when we are having this water problem by court intervention. You understand? Because by law, nothing is there. So it is by court intervention, we have to test it. There is no such judgment on the field, but we will have to test it whether it's possible or not. And such type of a decision can be only given by the Supreme Court, not by the High Court. The High Court will enforce law. The Supreme Court will not only enforce law, but can make law when there is no law. Please understand this. Therefore, the matter would go at a higher level. Let us hope for the best. Thank you. I want to inform you, a bill Aldona in the House. This bill was brought long back before I was an MLA. But it was never passed because of certain issues which affected the right of privacy of individuals. But I did not oppose this bill because we insisted that it should be there, not only for the benefit of every village or every city, but it's for our own benefit. If we don't know who is a tenant, we don't know his background, there's no background check. We may have criminals staying in the neighborhood, we may have murderers staying in the neighborhood, and this may be dangerous for us. So I did not oppose it. If at all any amendment has to be brought in subsequently, I thought let it be. But an act has been passed by the Goa Legislative Assembly making tenant verification compulsory. Please understand this.
That is for the corporate. Can I go?
So therefore, when it is compulsory, anybody can inform the concerned authority, the subdivision magistrate in this case, and the subdivision magistrate will come along with the police and make the verification and take action under the act. If you all come to know about it, please inform the Panchayat of it. Because from Panchayat angle, they collect 1 month's rent. But the Panchayat cannot go to inspect in that sense, like entry power is available under that act to that authority. So let them do that. Panchayat, under Panchayat Raj Act can call for documents, can ask for it, and they can definitely take action to make sure that this tenant verification is mandatory. And I don't understand. हांव कित्याक लोक ओपोज करता ते एक म्हयन्या भाड्याचे they should take it from the tenant. They should not pay from their pocket. They can collect it from the tenant and pay that money in the panchayat. That's all. So I don't know why they feel shy or they feel bad, or maybe they have forgotten to collect that, then they feel the pain, I'm losing 1 month's rent. So please understand this. They should collect it from the tenant and make sure that it is paid. About this, what I call this accelerating of water by using these boosters pumps. You can even tell it to me. I will make sure that the PWD goes and carries out a raid, and if it's illegal, we'll make sure it's sealed.
So just a clarification for this tenancy thing what you have said. Is there any power or is there any authority with the panchayat can they issue a letter?
The panchayat has the power to collect tax. So if the panchayat has the power to collect tax, it will always be entitled to know that the occupation is not by the owner but by someone else. It may be a family member. I'm just putting hypothesis. We always give the benefit of doubt. It could be a family member staying. He will say, I'm a relation. We'll ask him to prove the relationship. If it's not, you will be presumed that you are staying as a tenant. You understand me? And therefore the panchayat can issue notice to the owner, because we don't know who those people are. They may be floating tenants also. They may come for 11 months, next 11 months you may get somebody else. So the liability to pay tax is on the word used is the occupant. Occupant is defined as the owner. Remember this. The occupant in the act is defined as the owner. Normally you think occupant would be the person actually occupying, but the definition of occupant is the owner.
But when you're saying floating tenant, can it be a floating tenant every week, every 3 days, every 2 days? And how do they pay the government? How do they pay the tax?
See, I will tell you something. I have seen that these are these homestays which are going on. In the homestay, I have not applied my mind what is the rate of taxation to be done. But it will have to be registered as a hotel, I think so. So they will have to register this as a hotel. And if they have got permission from the tourism department, we'll have to examine it. I will not be able to give you a straightforward answer till I look at it. But I definitely will respond to you. I will examine it and I'll look at it from the point of view of augmenting panchayat revenue and the rights of the panchayat. I will give that definitely. It's in our interest to have more revenue for the panchayat. Thank you.
ना कित्याक तर तुवें कोणाचें वन्न आसन तो दवरलें तर जाल्यार सुणी काडटा आनी रस्त्यार उडयता मागीर तो गाबेक पांय घालता तांचे मागीर ते हात घालूंक तयार ना आनी ते रस्त्यारूच उरता आं तो मातसो नोट
Yes.
Regarding the defaulters for the house tax, for the defaulters of the house tax, are you permissible to send a notice for a disconnection of the
10% demand notice, yes.
What I would suggest is you send another notice saying that they will be penalized. You fix a
It will
penalty
not be
amount.
one time. I will not go banging the airport. पहिला demand notice येतलो तुझे इतले dues हा.
Building what we have discussed. Give them a 15 days time limit from 15. That is by first of
The first of May everything should be.
May the green should be in place.
Yes.
Because Harish is a Mandasi.
That is the party member. That is not my member.
No, but these boys are doing a Mandasi job.
Yeah, I asked comment.
People who want that electricity to be disconnected when we don't pay the tax, but the law may not allow that to happen. And I'll tell you why. The election department will disconnect if you don't pay electricity dues, and not because it doesn't pay panchayat dues. Please understand this. So we should not fall into a trap of issuing these notices with a threat which is of zero value or zero effect. What I am thinking, and I would request you not to take a decision this way that way. What I would request the Gram Sabha to consider that the panchayat will examine the matter and take appropriate decision in accordance with law. I would only suggest this. What is running in my mind, appropriate decision in accordance with law could be one.
Just secretary just updated me that the process can be initiated through Mamlatar to what is that? Recover the dues.
That's what I was about to tell you.
Yeah.
You have a power to recover unpaid tax, but not to ask election department to stop electricity, water to stop water supply. It will not work. Because Panchayat Raj Act is a statute. Panchayat can act only in the four corners of the statute. If you have the power, you have the right to exercise the power. If you don't have the power, you are without jurisdiction. So please understand this.
Yes.
The first point it will be thrown out. That is
so
one.
we will use all measures.
Wait, I'm thinking aloud, but please don't take this as a decision. I'm thinking if you have not paid your tax, then you may not have the right to occupy your premises. Understanding what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Secretary, please consider this. Explore this. If you don't pay the tax, we will seal your premises. I'm thinking this.
आम्ही प्रोजेक्ट रिचार्ज खंयचोच परमनंट स्ट्रक्चर आम्ही न्ही आमच्या पयलीं पासून थोडेच परमनंट स्ट्रक्चर भितर कितें जाला ते दुसरो विशय तो आम्हाला डिस्कस बट ऑल बिजनेसेस विच आर ऑपरेटिंग आर 100% पोर्टेबल कार्ड्स मुवेबल कार्ड्स आम्ही परमनंट टिचर कोणाकूच काय दिवं आणि आमच्या टेन्युअरान जरी जितले जाण कोण येताले न्यू घालपाक आमी सदांच सांगताले पळय एक दीस येतलो हे चड देव चलचें आनी तो दीस आयलो आनी तो दीस बेगीन येवपाकूय घडये आनी एक कारण आसतलें कांय जाणांच्या पोटांत चाबलेलें जर म्हटलो बिजनेस करता म्हणून म्हाजे म्हायती प्रमाणे PWD कडेन बरोवन घातलें तुमी कितले जाणां फाटल्या 20 वर्सांनी कमिशनां दिल्या माती गोबर दिला कित्याक तुमचे शिस्ता आदर पोस्ट करून पण आमचोच गांवचे चुकीची ताजो काम आतां कोर्टाचे म्हणटा वेगळे हो कोर्टाचे धरना पूण ताचे पयलीं थोड्यांनी आपल्या पोटान घालपाक म्हणून PWD चावत घालपाक कितें करपाक बरोवन घातलेलें कित्याक करपाक जाय समजना कसले तुज्या कोण बायका काडा चलयता पण भायल्या कडेन चलयता दुसऱ्या गांवांत कशें 100% लोकल कोणें हांवें घेवन म्हाजे कोणाक दिला आसतलो तो ते खबर दुसरे पण फायनली लोकल पोट त्रास करून पोट भरता न्ही तुज्या हातान शिस्ता तुका कित्याक करून घालपाक कितें कितें उमेद तुका प्रॉब्लेम हा दुसरे भाशेन सॉल्व करपी आनी फाटी पळय कुसलेले फरकून भायर मारल्यार ताचोय वास येता ताका सांगात कामा जो आतां ते प्रेस कॉन्फरन्सा मागीर खबर घेता पिपल म्हणून ताका कोण पिपल लेखता ते सगळें आव्हानां खबर आहा पूण ताचो वास त्या एप्लिकेशनाक खरोच येता which is not right. But that is a different issue. But ही खबर तुमकां आसूं घे कोर्टाक लागून न्ही जाल्यार कोणाच्या कोर्टात चापता म्हणून तरी डेफिनेटली येवपाचें आसलें 100% फर्ज्या विचार करून आसतलो त्या गाडयल्या कडेन चिकन मंचुरियन घेता कडेन हांव नको त्याच गाडयाच्या पोटाक फट मारपाक रेडी आहा कित्याक हांव बट तो विषय सेपरेट टेन्शन करून घालता कित्याक कितें तें शीप वूल शीप्स क्लोथिंग बट म्हाका फेवरेट म्हणटा तें आगये तांकां आगये म्हणटा एंड आय डोंट केअर फॉर वॉट हू सेज वॉट ते आगये गोशी खंय दिसता जाल्यार मागीर तूं कितें कर कित्याक लागून वाटेक वचपाक जाय आतां तुका सरपंचाची प्रॉब्लम आसा सरपंचाची यो मरे That is a different thing because my thing is why in the first place are you interested in complaining against our own locals? तुझे शिस्ता तुका पेन्शन येता तूं सुशेगाद बसून आहा तुका दुसऱ्याच्या पोटार येवपाक कितें कारण रे जायते जाणांक खबर आहा कितें पळय दिस शूड हॅव नॉट हॅपन तुका इशू कोणाशी आहा काबार जाता यो फुडल्यान डिस्कस कर सोल्युशन काडपाक बसता आमी असो कोणाक प्रॉब्लेम करपाक न्ही पण हे भाशेन बारीक लोकांक तो पोस्ट करून पोट भरता दूख दिसता पण आतां अनअवॉइडेबल कोर्टाक लागून न्ही तो डेफिनेटली ताका लागून डेफिनेटली येताले ते बट आतां कोर्टाचे आयले सो ते दोनूय क्लास जाला आसतले कडेन आनी आतां ती ऑर्डर आयली सो हांव मागता कोण उलोवंक सोदता ते कोर्टाच्या ऑर्डरीचेर जाल्यार फुडें सरोन अशें तांच्यांनी चिल्ड्रन्स पार्काचो इशू आसलो आय डोंट नो हाव आय मिस्ड ती एनओसी फॅब्रिकान ऑलरेडी आमदाराक दिला दिसता They have given the NOC for doing up the children's park to the MLA.
The children's park, by the way, just since he has spoken, I requested Fabrika to give me an objection. The Fabrika has given, and I'm asking someone to help me to go up the children's park. We will not do it out of Panchayat funds because Panchayat has already exhausted its funds. There was funds available earlier, but they had to utilize it because the NOC did not come. Now the NOC has come, and I hope to get the children's park done as soon as possible.
चलान सांगला कायदो इम्प्लिमेंट जातलो आमच्या वाटेन कायदो इम्प्लिमेंट करपाक सरपांचान सेक्रेटरीक जबाबदार दवरल्या गाडे जे पुरो पर्मनंट केल्या ते पोर्टेबल करचे पोर्टेबल केले म्हणटच मागीर तूं मुवेबल कार्डाचें लेटर इन स्पिरीट डेफिनेशनान येता सो फाल्यां आमी पासून जर इन्स्पेक्शनाक आयले जावं गव्हर्मेंटाचे कोण आयले तांच्यांनी पयले गाडो धुकलूंक जाता देन दोतोरान सांगला ते भशेन कायद्यान मुवेबल कार्ड हँड कार्ड हाचें मेन्शन केल्लें ना पूण जरी तर तुमी ते जमनीन पुरो पर्मनंट केल्या देन इट वील अट्रॅक्ट द डेफिनेशन ऑफ कन्स्ट्रक्शन करेक्ट सो
front of Goa Medical College, and that time Justice Bhatta was the judge in the High Court, and I appeared for the government in the matter. And Justice Bhatta said to me, "Have you gone to Goa Medical College?" I said, "No, sir. I have been perfectly fine, so I've not gone." So he said, "No, please go and see it. There are gadas which have painted the tire on the gada. There's no tire." Which I'm enforcing. Of course, with knowledge of the Panchayat, I am, with my friends, getting CCTV cameras installed in certain places, including at Gawar Junction, Nashnaula Town Slope 2, Nashnaula doesn't fall in Aldona, which is my constituency, and certain important places we are going to have solar CCTV cameras with memory card and with which we can monitor the movement of vehicles and the garbage which may be thrown here and there. I ask you, remember one thing, you and I are concerned and you and I don't do this. But people come from our villages only. Sometimes people come from other villages and they just take a packet and just throw it. Whenever I have had chance, believe me, I have not felt bad, I have not felt embarrassed, nor have I felt it below my level. I have gone, overtaken them, stopped them and said, "Please go and collect them back and take it with you." I have done it deliberately to tell them that I will not tolerate this nonsense. Whoever they may be, whether of our constituency or not our constituency. I have seen it on the highway also when we are approaching that Bastara track. Mercedes car takes out bag and he's carrying it and I stop and he's smiling at me afterwards. So I said, "Have you done puja and brought this to throw here?" He said, "No, no, but my garbage, please take it and throw it somewhere else. Don't throw it in that river like which is there on the side." I said, "Imagine you are coming with a Mercedes car and throwing this. It's a shameful act. It's not right." So what I'm saying is, these kind of things, I want everyone, whether we can be vigilant in our vadas, understanding. If we can be vigilant to whatever extent we can help the Panchayat, because it may not be you, but be somebody else. Could be sometimes your neighbor, you don't know. And therefore, the intention of the age and house collection was with that intention, not only to collect tax, but even to collect garbage tax. So that was the purpose of that amendment, but which was seen as a license to build an affirmation that now they are becoming illegal because they are paying tax, which is not the fact.
इवन गार्बेजीचे पासून 900 रुपीज पर हाऊस होल्ड केला 75 रुपीज पर मान आम्ही ते इम्प्लिमेंट करूंक ना अजून कित्याक आम्ही ते भाशेन कलेक्शन करिना पण आम्ही ते भाशेन जर कलेक्शन करपाचें स्टोरेज चित्रांत जागो आसत जाल्यार आमकां ते इम्प्लिमेंट करचें पडटलें बट न्यू हाऊसेस वी आर इम्प्लिमेंटींग दॅट ओल्ड हाऊसेसांक आमी अजून इम्प्लिमेंट करूंक ना सो न्यू एक्ट आयल्या उपरांत जे रिव्हिजन आयला ताच्या उपरांत रिव्हिजन 22 आयला त्या उपरांत पळय जितली ट्रान्सफर ऑफ हाऊसेस जाल्या वो न्यू घरां आयल्या तांकां सगळ्यांक न्यू रेट्स
बिलां आसा पूण शेडी कोणें घातला त्यो काडपाच्यो गाडयो दवरून बिलाय दिसता तशेंच गाडये दवरपाचें तें कन्फर्म कर कित्याक मागीर अशें जावंक जायना कोणाच्यो शेडी आसा आनी तितूनच गाडये बिलांचे आसा दवरता सगळ्यांचेच मोबायल गाडये दवरपाच्यो बोला
illegal construction in road widening area.
कित्याक पळय शेडी
illegal construction in road widening area by now. We will try and find out what exactly is the scene over there. फाल्यां तो म्हणून हो म्हजो गाडो हांगा आनी कोणाची शेड आली ते शेडीन हांव येवन रावला हातून हे जाय ते आपल्या लिवाचो गिव कॉमेंट्स जातलो सो वी वील ट्राय एंड एक्झामीन द सिट्युएशन बट गाडे सद्याक पळय जे जमनीन कुल्ल्या ते पोर्टेबल करा. That is one thing.
I will just interrupt. A shade is a temporary thing. It's not a permanent construction. A shade cover up because of the sun or the wind or the rain. I don't think because unless you're covering it up, wailang patra gayalo, Saudi aspa, I don't think it footfalls should not be a problem. But if you are doing patre side in gale ek room mesh karo, that whole thing may become illegal. But examine it. Please, I'm not giving an answer. Prima facie Bugelo view.
Modified structures and then we have to report simultaneously on this one. 15th कोर्टान आमकां अपियरन्स आसा आमी कितें केलां आमी एक सर्वे चालू केला आमचे स्टाफ सगळे रोड सायड स्ट्रक्चर्स आमी आयडेंटिफाय केले गाडे जावं कितें आहा पळय तुमलें तातूंत आमी पळय इंटेंशन आसलें सगळे आयडेंटिफाय करपाक तेंय जालें आमचें काम जे आमी सांगलेलें की आमी सगळे बिजनसीस जे आहा ते आयडेंटिफाय केले सो एका हातून 2 कामां जाल्यां आमची थोडे जाय ते कोण फारीक कोन्न आपल्या इतलीं वर्सां ते येवन आतां फारीक करतात in a way a good thing that you have your business premises permissions in place. If there is no more questions on that, we will. माझे income expenditure आम्ही गेले फावट जायते फावट लोक म्हाका येवन सांगताले आमकां सोंपोय दिवचो पडटा आनी पंचायतीकूय फारीक करचें पडटा which was double tax करून जातालो मानून घेतले आमी पूण कंडिशन कितें तुवें तुजे पंचायतीचें रिन्यूअल पयलें करूंक जाय तुजे लागीं जर पंचायतीचें रिन्यूअड बिजनस लायसन्स आहा जाल्यार तुका सोमो फारीक करपाची गरज ना आतां तूं ऑगस्टांत रावतलें रिन्यू करपाक जाल्यार 1 एप्रिलच्यान ऑगस्ट पासून तुका सोंपोय लागतलो आनी पंचायतीचो टॅक्सूय लागतलो सो जाता तितले बेगीन येवन तुमी पंचायतीचो टॅक्स भरा आनी मागीर ते सोपेकाराक तो रिसीट दाखया बाबा आमी पंचायतीचे लायसन्स फीज भरल्या कित्याक फाल्यां तुका आख्खें वर्स भरूं येना पंचायतीकूय पयशे मेळचे ना सोपेकाराकूय पयशे मेळचे ना सो यू हॅव टू वॅलिडेट युअर लायसन्स पे द नेसेसरी फीज आनी सोपेकाराक दाखयल्यार जाता की बाबा आमचो बाबा आमी बिजनस पंचायतीक भरल्या सो आमकां सोंपो लागना हे मनात दवरा सोपेकाराकूय सांगला आनी तुमकांय सांगता सो जाता तितले बेगीन फारीक जाल्यार ते आनी हे त्या वर्साक 7,500 जातात प्लस हे आनी 4,500 टोटल 12,000 मागीर तुमी म्हणटा इतले वाडयले तितले वाडयले सो जाता तितले बेगीन येवन टॅक्स कितें आहा तो पंचायतीन बिजनसाचो फारीक करा आनी सोंपो अवॉयड करा ओके सो ते क्लॅरिफिकेशन